All right, so let's get set up in a chest opener using either blankets or blocks, yoga blocks. And I will remind you how to do that. So if you're using the yoga blocks, what you do is you have one on the low level or medium. I'm going to show it on the low, and one on the higher level. The one on the higher level, it's like the medium height here for me, is going to go behind my head. And the one on the low level is going to go behind my upper back. So I'm like this with my knees bent. Now, that feels great to me. And sometimes it feels better for people to be on blankets. And in that case, you can fold it into any kind of rectangle, any height, and then take another pillow or block and put it behind your head. So you can use a pillow here. And so this is just a lot softer and gentler, and it feels really nice to me. Remember that it is your upper back, not your mid or low back. It's your upper back, so that the chest lifts up a little bit higher than the shoulders, and that your neck and your jaw feel relaxed. So feel free to fiddle around with your arrangement until you feel like it's a supportive and relaxing position. And if you need any help, you can always unmute yourself as well and ask me how to do it. Okay, great. So as you start to settle into that chest opening position, notice all the places where you are making contact with the floor. And with your props. And if you're leaving your knees bent, they can be straight or bent once you get into it. But if you're leaving them bent, you might want to take your feet a little bit wide and just let the knees lean against one another so that you can relax through your inner thighs. And as you're lying here, kind of orient to your space, which means you just want to look around. You can look above you, bringing yourself into the present moment. If you're kind of lost in your thoughts or feel distracted, you can use your senses to bring yourself into the present moment. What you hear, what you see, what you feel, even what you smell, if there's any scent in the room. Even what you taste, if there's any taste in your mouth. And then begin to notice your breath, just as it goes in and as it goes out. You don't have to change it at all. Just simply feeling where you feel it the most. And with your chest lifted up a little bit higher in this position, you might be able to feel your rib cage expand with your inhale. So as you inhale, just notice if you can try to feel the ribs expand. And then a long, slow exhale. And as you exhale, Can you exhale until you get every last bit of air out? You could use a pursed lip exhale where you're blowing out like you're blowing out through a straw. Or you could exhale out your nose. Good. Now, as you're ready, if you are on the blocks, you'll want to bend your knees and kind of use your arms and tuck your chin to come up. If you're on blankets, you might just kind of roll to your side like this and come off. And we're going to come back down onto our backs. You'll need whatever you were going to use, like a block or that firm rolled up blanket near you. Okay, so just keep it nearby. And as you come down onto your back, just notice how your back feels against the floor. And let's do a few pelvic rocks here. So knees bent as you do this. We'll inhale and press the low back down to the floor so there's no space between your low back and the floor. And then exhale and rock the pelvis forward so you have a low back curve. Now, I'm going to feel your feet on the floor as you do this. You might need to walk your feet just a little bit further forward. I'll tell you what we're going to do in a moment. But first, we're going to switch the breath a little bit. So what we're going to do is switch so that when you exhale, you press your low back down to the floor. And when you inhale, we're going to rock the pelvis forward. So we're just doing the opposite of what we were just doing with the breath. Okay, now I'm going to add one more layer to this. As you exhale and press your low back down, can you lift the soles of your feet up so you're on your heels? So I'm just like lifting the toes and the balls of the feet up as I exhale. And then as I inhale and rock the pelvis forward, I'm going to lift the heels up and be on the balls of the feet. And repeat. So exhale, press the low back down, lift back or roll back to the heels, and then as you rock forward, lift the heels. And notice which one, and it doesn't, you can kind of, if you're struggling with getting the breath right, just let it go and be breathing however you want. But which one of these feels easier through your ankles? And which one's an easier one to do for you? And you're using your calf muscles and your shin muscles as well as you're rocking your feet. Just like when we rock our feet when we're in standing and we do this, right? You're rocking your feet, rocking over the soles. How high up can you lift the heels? And how far up can you draw the toes and the balls of the feet? Good, and now let's just rest them. Good, and find neutral with your pelvis. And as you inhale, let's reach your arms overhead. And then as you exhale, let's bring your right knee in. Good, and just give it a squeeze. You can hold above or below the knee. Inhale there. Good, and now as you exhale, just curl up toward the knee. And then inhale, lower back down. Exhale, relax your face. And inhale, stretch the leg up toward the ceiling. And exhale, bend it again. And repeat. Good. Keep going with the leg, going up and down. Good. And then next time you come up, you can leave it there. You don't have to hold on with the hands if you don't want to, and just roll the ankle around in a circle. And then roll your ankle in the opposite direction. And now let go with your hands if you haven't already, and just shake, shake, shake the leg. Good. Nice. And now let's put the foot down and straighten out both legs on the floor. Just notice how the two sides feel. Following your breath in and out. Good. And now let's bend the right knee and then the left. And inhale, reach your arms overhead. Exhale, bring the left knee in. You can catch it with your hands. Good. Inhale, stay here. Exhale, let's tuck the chin down and curl up toward the knee. Inhale, roll down. Exhale, relax the neck and jaw. Inhale, stretch the leg up. And exhale, bend again and repeat. Good. Now, the next time you get your leg up there is rolling the ankle around, letting your breath be continuous. And then roll it the other way. And then you can let go with the hands and shake, shake, shake the leg. Good. And then let's straighten out both legs on the floor again. Follow your breath in. And just take a sigh. Okay, let's inhale, reach the arms overhead and reach through your heels at the same time. So you're getting long in both directions. And then exhale, relax, bring the arms down. Let's bend the knees. We're going to take your block or your rolled up blanket or pillow that's firm between your inner thighs. So you can have your block the medium width if you're using a block, or the skinny width, whichever feels better. Okay. We're going to inhale here. And as you exhale, can you press your low back down to the floor and engage your abdominal muscles, lifting your feet off the floor? Good. And we're going to stay with feet off the floor. If you need to have one foot down, just because you can't hold this position, you'll take the block out and just have one foot down. Okay, that's fine too. If you feel okay here, you can straighten the legs up toward the ceiling. And you might need to adjust the block. Like maybe it feels better to have it a little more toward the knees. You can move it up if that's the case and just see what feels like. You can give the block a little squeeze. Okay, good. So inhale to squeeze the block. Good. And exhale, can you start to move the feet or both legs around in a circle, as though you're drawing a circle on the ceiling with the soles of your feet, while maintaining pressure against your block or your rolled up blanket. Good. Just go around and around. And then can you go in the opposite direction? If you need a break at any time, you can take it. Good. And then come back to the center. Inhale. Exhale, bend the knees and place the feet on the floor. Good. Inhaling and exhaling. Let's take our block or prop away and we'll come back to it in a moment. Okay. Going to inhale and exhale. Let's bring both knees in and give them a squeeze with your arms. Good. And you can make little circles on your low back. Keep breathing. Now come to the center and see if it feels okay to let go with your hands and just have your arms down at your sides. Good. Inhale. And exhale. Now inhale, could you stretch your legs up toward the ceiling and take your arms overhead, pressing your back to the floor? Good. And then exhale, can you bend your knees and bring your arms down at your sides? And then we're just going to repeat that. Okay, so we'll inhale, press low back to the floor, arms stretch overhead, straightening legs upward. As you bend your knees, you guys, and exhale, you're not putting your feet on the floor. You're just keeping the feet off the floor, as though your knees were in towards your chest with your arms holding them. Okay, and repeat. Good. So feet stay off the floor. And if this feels like too much, like some of you, it looks like it might be too much, you could always do this with one foot on the floor like this, right? So you just do one leg at a time, do a few repetitions, and then you could switch sides, okay? If you're doing both legs and you need a break at any time, you can take it. If you're doing one side, make sure you get to your second side now. And if you're doing both sides, you might want to just bring knees into chest now and take a break. Maybe rock a little side to side. Good. Great. Now we're going to go back to, you can keep the feet off the floor and everybody can just drop both knees into the chest for a moment. We're going to go back to that first thing we did with the block between the inner thighs. Now, if that was difficult for you, stick with that. Or if you had to do it one-legged, stick with that. If that wasn't so difficult, you can take your block now or your rolled up thing. And if you're using a block, do the medium width. So that means it looks like this, right, between your ankles. So it's not the skinniest it can be, and it's not the widest it can be. It doesn't matter so much actually, but I feel like that gives you a better grip. And we're going to put it between the ankles. Now, again, if it felt hard between the inner thighs, you might want to stick with that, okay? And just give it a little squeeze between the ankles. And you can use your rolled up blanket for this too. And we're going to do the same thing we just did. So we're going to make circles as though you were drawing circles on the ceiling. Try to relax through your upper body and your jaw. And of course, if you're doing it one-legged, just do the other leg, probably about now. And if you're doing it two-legged, reverse those circles. You might see if you can make them bigger and still have control. Good. And then when you're ready, bend the knees and remove your prop, placing your feet down wide. Let's spread the arms out and windshield wiper the knees side to side. Good. Good. Now let's roll over to your side, or you can also draw your knees in and rock up, whichever you prefer. And we're going to find a seated position. So you could sit in a chair if sitting on the floor doesn't work for your body, or you could sit up on a prop or even prop up your back with your couch or your wall. And sit however you want to with the legs. So you don't have to sit cross-legged. You can sit in a way that works for you. And you can also use props beneath knees. Okay, and just relax your arms. Okay, so chair or floor. Let's take the hands now and inhale, palms up, spread the fingers wide. Good, and exhale, close them tight. I'm just going to repeat that. Okay, so inhale, spread the fingers wide. Make sure your hips and knees are comfortable in your low back. Okay, remember you can always go to the chair. Keep going. So just inhale, spread. Relax your arms on your lap so that your shoulders can be at ease. Good. Okay, now we're going to take the arms out to the sides with the palms down. But when you do that, what I want you to watch for is not having the arms higher than your shoulders or even the same height. Have them a little lower, okay? And then inhale, make as tight a fist as you can. And as you exhale, you can even put a little bend in the elbows, shoot out the fingers and spread them as wide as you can and repeat. So these are just called grips, and they're for wrist strengthening. And hand strengthening. And so you make these as strong as you can. Like think if you're trying to like shoot lightning bolts out all of your fingers and your thumb, like you're a superhero or something, and you're trying to really shoot them wide. And you can see I'm bending my elbows so that my shoulders are not all tight. I'm not up here. Okay, I'm down here. Yeah, good. Let's do it for 10 more seconds. You might feel it in your forearms. Good, and then just rest the arms. And inhale, roll the shoulders up. And exhale, take them down your back. And again. Good. You might want to change position with your legs if you're sitting on the floor. So feel free to just kind of change your position now. Find something else. Get more propping. I'm going to try a hand mudra. And hand mudras, they're just gestures with the hands that are meant to set a certain intention in your body. So you may, if you have a lot of arthritis in the hands or have, a trigger finger or something going on, you might not actually be able to do the hand position. So you can always just picture it, okay? Or you can play around with your fingers. To set up for this, let's take the thumb and just move it. And you can look at your hands as you do this just to get the brain-hand connection. You're going to inhale, touch thumb to pinky. Exhale, touch thumb to ring fingertip. Inhale, touch thumb to middle. Exhale, touch thumb to index. And repeat. Okay, so just go with your own breath. Relax your arms on your lap. And again, if you can't make contact, you can just go toward making contact. This is really good for just exercising the hands for arthritis, but you might not be able to actually do it. So you can just come close to it or picture it. Good, and then just let that go. You can roll your wrists around a couple of times and slow down your breath. If your breath got quick, just slowing it down. Okay, and the one that we'll try, the mudra that we'll try, is taking the thumb to touch, and I'm not going to hold it up like this, I'm just doing this to show you, but to touch the ring and the pinky fingertip. And then you just rest on your lap, and the other two fingers, if they can, they just stretch forward, almost like you're making a peace sign like this, okay? And then you can rest your wrists however they feel best. They don't have to stay up. It can be however it is. And again, if this bothers your hands, you can let go at any time of it and just rest. And what the intention for this particular mudra is to welcome in a sense of joy. Okay? So as you're doing this, rest the shoulders, rest the arms. And just notice your breath coming in and your breath going out. And you might bring your mind to something just that brings you a simple pleasure. And it doesn't have to be this great amount of happiness, just a simple pleasure. It could be holding a warm cup of tea or looking at a tree, anything. So whatever comes to your mind, instead of going into a story about it, just try to experience it as though you were experiencing it right now. And notice what that feels like in your body as you're doing that. Relaxing through your shoulders, just letting your arms rest on your lap. Good. And now just relax your hands. You can stretch them out if you want to. Good. Nice. And then in your position, you might need to change leg positions again. Go for it. Or move to a chair if you're getting tired of the floor. I'm just making circles, as you can see. Yeah, you guys got it. Just kind of circling the torso around as big or small as you want to, and then go in the opposite way. Good. And now start to make your circles smaller and smaller until they become almost imperceptible. If someone were watching you, it would be like you can't see them anymore and you can barely feel them. Keep breathing. Good. And then just pause, relaxing the shoulders. And you take a sigh.